r/ask Reddit. What probably slightly annoyed prehistoric humans? Going to your favorite fruit tree or berry bush and finding someone else has already picked it clean. Legit. Same with a mushroom patch. Don't you dare picking on my bush. Fleas and lice were a constant back then, but I can't imagine ever really getting used to them. I was going to say small, flying, biting insects. We call them midges here in Scotland, but infernal hellspawn would be a better name. They prefer the term little people, you insensitive duck. When you wake up in the morning and you roll out of your pile of leaves and hay and your feet touch the freezing cold dark cave floor. First world problems. You'll look at this guy with leaves and hay. Must be nice. Accidentally chipping a bit too hard when you're finishing up a spearhead and ruining it when you leave Grog to watch the fire and he falls asleep and lets it go out. And you have to start it all over again being called a Neanderthal ducker when we all know there is nothing wrong with that actually. Being called a Neanderthal ducker when we all know there is nothing wrong with that actually. Fun fact, all human beings who have roots outside of sub-Saharan Africa have some Neanderthal DNA. That doesn't make them Neanderthal duckers though, just means somewhere along the line they were descended from a Neanderthal ducker. Geez, your grandfather ducks one Neanderthal and your family can't live it down for 200,000 years. Animals ducking with their stuff. Edit. Thank you for my first ever silver, : A week ago I read an article about how people who work from home because of COVID are terrorized by their pets while working. So this is not specific to prehistory. My housemate's cat literally knocks on my door until I let her in. Then she does one lap of my room and ducks off. Having to poop outside the cave when it was raining. People pooped in pots and kept them under their beds until the 19th century. I'm not sure prehistoric humans had raised beds. Biting the inside of their mouth while chewing. I'm sure this is still a common occurrence in rave clubs today. Rave caves. When the wind turns at the wrong moment during a hunt. Persistence hunting was a method of hunting used. They would go after the animal until it was too tired to continue running. When I first read about this, I thought they tracked an animal for 3 days before it collapsed, but then they'd have to carry it for 3 days back to camp. Then I realized they would have flushed it back toward camp and just circled it around and around till it collapsed. Then it's just a short radius length walk back to camp. All these young people growing their own food and raising animals. I heard that Boy stopped traveling altogether, just living in one place. It's making man weak. Make Unga Bunga great again. MUBGA. The cording for your favorite bee shell necklace breaking. Someone mistaking your favorite pointed stick for the fire starter. Your kid running off with that really nice sharp rock and losing it in the river. A duck in cave bear coming up on the deer you just downed. All that work and that ducker's gonna take the fruit of the labor. The kid putting a bad berry in their mouth and getting sick after you told them not to eat those berries. The local village idiot who does inexplicable shit like trying to make all the round things flat just because he had a vision telling him to do it. You don't know how many jars you've lost to that duckwit and now you've got some bird's eggs that'll go great with the moose jerky and that a-hole is eyeing your find. Someone mistaking your favorite pointed stick for the fire starter. Today I learned what would have triggered me as a prehistoric human. I don't know if anything similar has ever happened to me, but I genuinely feel angry just reading about this. Stupid ducking dong-head Neanderthal mother duckers. I think it triggered a brief moment of ancestral homicidal rage. Someone way up in my family tree definitely killed a man over burning her favorite pointy stick. And for a fraction of a second there I felt it in my genes. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are the primary vector for malaria, a disease which by some estimates may have killed something like half of all humans who ever lived. So they're more than a slight nuisance. But without understanding why they were getting sick and dying. You're right in that prehistoric humans probably didn't realize how annoyed they really should have been by mosquitoes. Plus they were itchy as shit. Standing in mammoth shit. Ducking mammoth owners. If you're going to own one, you're responsible for cleaning up after it. Always bring a shovel, a trash bag, and a wheelbarrow when walking your mammoth. Periods with no proper pads, tampons or painkillers available. Childbirth probably sucked. You'd be lucky if the mother survived, and incredibly lucky if the child did. Even today maternal and infant mortality rates are still quite a worry. The fact that good quality shitposts were relegated to the smooth walls of hot single caves in their area. You had me a hot single caves. Kids poop and eat corner and eat in poop corner. Not mad, they just kids, but they need learn respect cave. Then have own cave someday. Oh no, not eat in poop corner. Gary died. Eat in poop corner. Gary sick. 2 suns and moons. Well, nobody likes a stubbed toe. They didn't have air conditioning, so I bet their balls got stuck to their legs constantly. I thought for a sec that you said hair conditioner and I was concerned for a moment, like, do men really use conditioner on their balls? That's my excuse when my girlfriend walks in on me. I'll condition as fast as I want. Having to eat bloated ticks off their friend who fell asleep in tall grass after having 10 too many fermented crab apples. Bro, are you eating the ticks? Yep, dude, WTF is wrong with you? How else am I supposed to get rid of them? Squish them. Yeah, but duck. R/oddly specific. Accidentally wiping with poison ivy. Definitely more than a slight annoyance. When you sneeze while making a negative handprint on a cave. When you come back home with a fawn you killed and your kid says, Gert's daddy killed a moose yesterday. When your deer's skin is slightly too short to make a decent top. When you tried to make a swing needle out of bones and it broke. Again. When you told your father and husbands to kill a moose and they killed a mammoth while you don't have time to cut all of it in the day with a place to stock it. And they are proud of them. When your new neighbors went picking wild plants and they even took the young sprouts. Or when they start cut flint before sunrise. When your deer's skin is slightly too short to make a decent topi. Laughed at this. No doubt they made a hat or something out of it instead. But I can just picture some caveman holding up the too short deer skin to his chest and snarling with frustration. Time travelers taking pictures or videos and taking souvenirs. When the waitress at Bronco Burgers tips your car over by putting those ducking huge ribs on the side of it. Edit. Bronto. All those damn stone tablets they keep finding everywhere advertising someone wants to talk to them about their extended warranties. Sand. It's so coarse, so rough, so irritating. It freaking gets everywhere too. Manscaping with a sharp rock. I worked at a summer camp with a guy who would burn his pubes. It smelt awful. Why would anyone ever do that? The word duck hadn't been invented yet, so when they stepped on a Lego barefoot at 3 AM, they could only yell ambrosia. Nothing quite describes pain like an ambrosia salad. More than a slight annoyance. What the heck did the women do when they got a yeast infection? Those are horrific without prescription diflucan. You can't even walk if you have a bad one. They probably knew some herbal remedies, or at least some general soothing plant paste. Otzi the Iceman who died in the Alps 5,000 years ago carried herbs that have a chemical effective against intestinal parasites. He had a case of worms that he was trying to treat, but he was killed by an arrow in the back first. So we'll never find out if it was going to work for him. The medicine found on him was also found in his intestines, so there is a good chance it did. Not to mention he possibly had Lyme disease, arthritis, tooth decay, and was lactose intolerant. To name a few things wrong with him, there was a good chance he was living with some type of pain before he died, and thus knew of herbal remedies to relieve said pain. And that is without going into the tattoos he had across the affected joints, which seemed to be a more alternative method of healing. When that low duck in a-hole neighbor won't stop yelling yabba dabba doo. Getting something stuck in their teeth. Slowly whitting down a twig into a pick with a stone flake, only to have the tip of the pick break off. Now grog have to make pick again and 2 things stuck in teeth. Those bloody beaker kids and their fancy bronze they keep going on about. They should try hunting and gathering for a change. That's real work, lad. Probably trying to find out what they can and cannot eat. Oh, look at this little bush with little orange fruits. Bam, duck and habaneros. Now you're convinced you're dying for like an hour. Stepping on stone legos. When someone is blocking the cave painting while you're trying to wank off to it. Saber-toothed tigers. Saber-toothed tigers existed with humans? Edit. They coexisted with humans. Seemingly. They teamed up to fight the dinosaurs. Have you never seen the documentary series, The Flintstones? I bet their Wi-Fi was really, really slow. but number 5 grams to cause coronavirus, so they had that going for them. Diarrhea. Boom. Swamp ass. Asking your husband to fetch berries for once because you're pregnant and waking up the next day with twice the morning sickness because he didn't know the bad ones. Itchy post poop butt. Kids filling up the cave walls with their images when they could have just written out their stories. Bugs. Like flies, gnats, mosquitoes. No bug spray, no window screens, no deterrent. I'm thinking about my girlfriend whose legs are constantly covered in bites after like an hour outside with bug spray on. The stalk you use to brush your back in the shower won't stop turning to the camera and saying it's a living. How about pain more generally? There were no NSAIDs, anesthetics, etc. We're so used to taking pills to address our aches and pains, e.g. headaches, bloating. But back then you basically just had to push through it. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.